Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have Kim M.E. back. You guys know her as Kim M.E., but she's back again. The Oracle, or I'm sorry, the medium that rocks. You do. So how are you, Kim? It's good to have you back.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So, well, it's been a while since you've been on. A lot of changes. You've been getting more involved with your spiritual work and everything. So, what's a little update on how you've been doing?
Yeah, yes, thank you so much. I'm really getting more involved now. My kids are finally kind of up and out and adults, and they're going on with their lives because really I've been dedicating most of my life and time to them. And, my spirit work has always been there, but it's really been part-time. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a space now, and the whole place is sacred, and it's all dedicated to my spirit work. So I've been doing a lot more things personally. I still do my emailed readings, but I have opened the space up, and every Sunday we have tarot groups.
Mm.
I'm
Now, what
starting to
location
do.
is this for those that might be in the area where you're at?
It's in Webster, New York, which is right outside of Rochester, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still use my regular contacts off my website, and I have my email address and my phone to text. But I just started, so we're just up and running, and we're doing quantum groups, and
Mm-hmm.
those are based on Dolores Cannon's work. Those are Many of those are her direct scripts, and they are taking people through the past life journeys and also showing them a little bit about how to get into that state on their own for moments, so it kind of can get people to know. It's like, I actually think you can do this probably without a guide, but it's nice to have a facilitator, especially the first few times, I really think.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. And then I also do on a regular basis what is called a modern day seance. The word seance can be scary to a lot of people. So for people, I kind of say it's also considered like an ancestor circle, because what we normally do is we really are connecting with spirit guides, but also we're requesting your deceased loved ones to come through. And so what normally happens is we don't know who's going to come in. It really has to do with the group. And the messages that come in for people when you are in a group, it's for everyone. So even though you'll get something specific, they want to cater so everyone's getting something. It's kind of like going to a party and everyone shows up, but everyone's part of that experience. So,
Right.
you're getting.
So I know it's kind of spooky. People think it's seance and they think it's spooky. So how about an example, the one you were telling me about
Yeah,
your father's or whatever, just so people
yeah,
it demystifies it a little bit,
yeah. So what we do is it's a way of honoring the dead. So much like in Mexico, when they put out flowers and they honor the dead, this is sort of what we do. So we have a date, people know. I tell them to bring pictures, I tell them to bring flowers, anything they want, sacred items that's, symbolize and represent their loved ones. We put it in the center of the table. It's not all mystical and mystifying, although a lot of people may feel really tense at first. I do use some sage and I smudge the area. We usually have a few laughs and jokes before we start, so the mood is light. It's nothing scary. And then we start. And basically, the way that we start is I basically just close my eyes. It's very much like giving a private reading.
Hmm.
With my eyes closed, I just sort of go to each person. First, I protect us and I call in the light. I call in our guides, just like I do with every private reading. And
Hmm.
when that happens, when you are in person, you actually can feel that. You can feel that energy, and it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing scary about it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
And
is this just
even
candlelight or regular lighting or what?
I usually have one white candle because traditionally lighting a white candle is calling forth the white light.
Okay.
So, yeah, and sage is also a very good herb to use for cleaning the space, cleansing the space, and inviting in spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something I've used for about 3 decades, they kind of know, my guides know. It's kind of like calling them, saying, okay, I'm going to start working. Come
Oh
on
yeah,
down.
gotcha.
Also, when people enter my space, I smudge them. It's called smudging. I basically get the smoke all over them. But in the trance state, once the actual seance process is happening, I kind of am guided. I kind of can see through the third eye each person with my eyes closed, and then I can see their people standing behind them. And what'll happen is the guides come in first so that the circle's protected, and then they kind of open this, I guess you can call it like an astral door, and then their loved ones step in. So I spend about, this is usually a 2 hour process. So depending on how many people show up, and I don't time it, I don't put a timer on, I let spirit do it. It always ends on time. It's amazing how it works because my eyes are closed, I'm not paying attention to anything. So I go around to each person, and everyone gets anywhere between 10-15 minutes of a message. Usually I'll ask if they have a question for clarification of anything, and then we move on. Sometimes at the end, when it's over, they usually have a wrap up message for everybody. Sometimes they have an opening message and then a closing message. But what I was kind of mentioning before is even though each person is getting a message personally for them, they like to do something called piggybacking. And what that means is I might say something to you and I might be describing someone and I say, I think this is a father and this is what I'm getting. But someone else in the room may say, that really sounds like my dad. So, for instance, we had this thing going on where I was describing someone's father and I saw him on the ground or low doing something on the ground. And then I also saw a garage. And I was like, I don't know if he's a mechanic, but I see him in the garage and I see him low on the ground and he's showing me this. So the thing that was interesting is her father was not a mechanic, but he used to install carpets. And the other woman on the other side of the room's father was a mechanic. But the girl whose father installed the carpets, she just went to his garage that day and was collecting things out of his garage. So the messages still resonate with people, but sometimes a piece of someone else's message can also resonate with someone else, or they can look at it a couple different ways that kind of go with their experience as well. So
Sure,
it's
that makes
it's
sense.
really very cool. And
Yeah.
it's more amazing, I think, for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely blind to it all. I don't know. I don't know the people. I don't know their situations. I don't know their people. And I think I enjoy hearing the stories when I'm done more than they do because, I still, to this day, I need the proof. It helps me to know that I did give you a message and it didn't just come from my imagination,
Right. Yeah.
the evidence. And so every time I get someone that says, yeah, this is it. And this makes sense, it just gives me that extra, all right,
Yeah.
there's
It's wonderful
something.
validation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is
So,
so cool. So you had one where your fathers came through?
yes,
Oh,
the last one we had, I had two women and a gentleman and myself. And all of us have lost our fathers within the last 5 years. And none of us had a clue that our dads would come through. I did myself put a picture out of my father, my grandmother, and a sister. And they had brought items, but no one had said, and they didn't bring any pictures. So no one had said specifically who they were looking for. And again, my eyes were closed. And until the whole session's everyone who shows up. But as we were going through, I'm going, oh, we got a father and a father. So it turned out that all of our fathers came through.
that is so
Um,
neat. It was like a father theme then,
really
and
cool.
nobody ever planned on it. It was almost synchronistic because people brought. Did everyone bring something for their father?
I didn't ask. People
Oh.
brought a few things. A lot of the things weren't, I don't think specifically of their dads. A lot of the two girls brought some crystals. I think the one whose dad that I was giving the message for with the carpets, I don't think she brought anything related to her father. The gentleman didn't bring anything at all. I just happened to know because I actually gave him a Beyond Quantum Healing session, and his dad and grandfather came through during that session. So that's another thing that's kind of interesting. Once I have someone that is a client,
Mm-hmm.
I become just as familiar with their spirit people as I do with them. So I knew right away, as soon as I got to him and his dad came in and his grandfather, I said, "Oh, I got your grandfather again," because I already met them. I already know who they are. So it
Right.
was great.
That's really cool. So it's almost like I had a question about him in the. So it's almost like instead of it being the items that they're bringing, it's almost the intention, right? Like in a
Absolutely.
BQH session or something, it's more of the intention that you're putting into it.
Absolutely. It's exactly that way. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I think BQH is an easy thing for me to transition into doing because it's really not different. It's not that much different at all than mediumship. Um, it's not that much different. I mean, it's meditation, but regression. I'm just kind of there guiding. The hardest part of BQH for me to learn, the learning curve, was trying to the questions to ask people. That was my biggest thing. Like, if someone gets stuck, how do I get them unstuck? Or, those things, because I don't do that in my regular line of work. I basically just get stuff and then I type it, and
Right.
but you're really interacting with someone in the session. Luckily, my 2 sessions, I had wonderful clients who just ran with it. I didn't even have to ask them any questions. But I know, from my training with Candace, that that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
Right. So I haven't had any difficult clients yet. But I've that's what I keep in mind is that's my learning curve. That's where I need to do my work is the right questioning and you know, kind of look at that because I worry more about some of the cases where trauma comes up, because I know that's important and that's where the healing really comes in.
Right.
My first session was very interesting because I did use a combination of a lot of things. Um, the gentleman was amazing. He went to I didn't want to end the session. At first, I was like, I don't want this to go on for a long time, but it was 3 lives he experienced. They were all amazing. They were galactic, you
Oh
know.
wow, that's neat.
Yeah. So I mean, my first session, and I'm having galactic experience from a person, so that was amazing. Um, but then his father and grandfather came in too. So then the last part was more like a mediumship reading. So um, yeah, I mean, the only thing I didn't do was pull cards, you know.
Right. Well, I was thinking that with you having, your other tools that you can incorporate into BQH, that's what I love about it. It's sort of open and formatted to where if you already have some tools in your toolbox, you can incorporate them. And it seems like if someone got stuck, you could probably rely on one of your other tools to help unstick them, right? Or maybe.
Yeah, yeah, and it is instinctive, intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like as it's happening, then I know. Like I was saying with you too, even today, I have so many tarot cards and oracle cards, but when I sit down to do a reading, or I know I might pull a card for someone after a spirit reading, I try to think with my mind, oh, what decks would I use? And when I do it that way, I can't. It's
Mm-hmm.
not until I'm in the session and I start kind of getting into that mode where I'm talking to spirit or spirit's talking to me, however you want to look at it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I get that kind of sign or symbol from them. And then I go, oh, that's the deck I'm supposed to use. So I kind of wait, like I did grab some, but I don't know if these are going to be the ones I use because it's,
You just never know. You have to
I
grab it
really don't
intuitively.
know.
Right. I
And
understand
I
totally.
actually think if anyone is out there thinking about becoming a medium, one of the things that I can say is what your spirit guides do for you when you start doing this is they want you to collect as many symbols as you can. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's when spirit guides talk to you. They give you symbols. So I have a lot because I just studied a lot of esoteric things and I studied metaphysics. But I believe, because I didn't know why I started collecting tarot cards, to be honest. I've
Mm-hmm.
always liked them, but not to the extent that I do now. But I believe that my guidance wanted me to have a lot of material to go to. Because lots of times now when I do a reading, I'll see an image of a card in my head. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't even go to the deck. I'll know exactly the card that that person needs. I'll go to the deck anyway if I want to read the meaning for the person, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like I already have this library. So it's very interesting. The last really ever since the Mandela effect, I have just been following spirit. I have kind of just turned off the logical part of my brain as much as I can. We still have to function, but I
Right.
kind of say, should I do the thinking or should I just kind of let the guidance come and follow the synchronicities? And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing, and it's been working out pretty well.
So you mentioned the Mandela effect. I think. Okay, I had asked the audience or the chat if anybody wanted a reading, and we have a few people that wanted one. So maybe we can do that in a second. But as far as Mandela effects, have you noticed anything new or anything different about? I mean, it was a huge wake up call for me. That's why I'm really where I am right now, and I always see it as a positive thing. But I know not everybody does. But what's been going on with the Mandela effect since we last talked for you?
Well, I haven't been paying attention to anything new as far as changes or anything,
Hmm.
but my opinion about the Mandela effect is it was a wake up call. It was a way to get us all to see that yes, something has happened, something is happening, something's continuing to happen.
Hmm.
Magic, just to use that term, is real. You know, we
That's
don't
funny you said
know.
that because just a second ago you was talking left and right brain, and
Yeah,
that's totally what it's pushed me to the more creative right brain side of that part that we sort of neglect. So just what you were saying about sort of letting go of the analytical and moving to the supernatural, the metaphysical, the creator, the service to others is all this right brain stuff, and a lot of the messages I've received from the Mandela effect changes have pointed to that whole thing. So it's cool
yeah.
that you bring that up.
Yes. And I think, that is a great way to look at it because scientifically we can say it. We can say, yes, it's a left brain, right brain thing. And that kind of takes the whole thing out of looking at it like, okay, well, the New Age has always said this, and the Buddhists have always thought this, and the Christians have always thought this. When you actually look at it without putting labels on everything, it really is about being able to follow your intuition, your imagination, um, being open minded, and realizing that maybe, just maybe, our idea of reality is completely wrong. And, the past, present, and future don't do that
Right.
in a linear reality. And so that's been what I've been kind of doing for myself. I kind of took the one piece out of it because the Mandela effect is so big. I kind of took the one piece out of it and just said, we don't live in a linear reality. And I've been focusing on that. And I do like the idea of thinking about, okay, a friend of mine mentioned that we're like a wagon wheel and your soul's in the center and all your lives are like the spokes. It's all
Hmm.
happening at the same time, but as it's spinning, you don't see the other spokes. You're just seeing the center of the wheel. So I love that analogy. And that's kind of how I think this is happening. Now, I think the key is figuring out how to alter things the way we want to consciously. So I think that's what we're trying to learn how to do. The best part of it is that can be knowing that we have to take responsibility. The choices that we're making are actually creating our future. So we
Absolutely.
can't we can't blame an entity. We can't blame somebody else. You know, we can't say we believe the right thing, so we're okay. We can't say we don't believe the right thing, so we're not. It's about our actions. It's
Absolutely.
you know? So I like that because my belief has always been that. It's always been in personal responsibility. Um, I don't like to label myself, although I know, my website and everything kind of explains me as a spiritualist. I started out looking into spiritualism because I knew I was developing mediumship and I wanted to make sure that was coming from a really place of light, love, and of God. Because you have many different kinds of mediums, many different kinds of psychic mediums, and not all of them are interested in coming from a place of light, but I
Mm-hmm.
am. So I did go through that process, but I don't consider myself religious and I don't consider myself necessarily a spiritualist, although I honor and follow spiritualists and I completely love when I go to a spiritualist place like Lilydale. I honor what they do, but I don't attend any religion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if I were to call myself something, I would say I believe in unity consciousness. So I believe absolutely everyone has the right to believe whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anyone. And we're all in this together. So,
I'm right with you on that one. It's like as often as my own views change, I can't expect anybody to keep up with what I believe. You know what I mean? And that's sort of when you come from religion. That's sort of you feel like it's your responsibility what others do, but it really isn't. You know, at the end of the day, it's like how you love people is really all you have control over, right? How you treat people.
exactly. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, so,
perfect. Do you want to do a live reading? I think that'd be kind of cool.
sure, we can do that.
What do you need? Just the person's name?
Yeah, I guess let's do the person's name. And if they have a question or if they have a person they'd like to hear from in spirit, I'll take
Okay.
that.
We're going to start with Eva Pyle. I'm going to spell it for you because I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's
Okay.
Ewa. Last name is Pihl. Pyle?
Okay.
Pill? Not sure. She's been a long time viewer, though.
Okay.
She's across the pond. I forgot. She's in Europe
Oh,
somewhere.
all right. Fantastic.
Awesome. Probably evening for her. Do you need a birth
Um,
date or anything? Or... No?
does she have a question? Is there a particular question or concern? Anything she'd like me to focus on?
She can type it up in the meantime because
Okay.
there is like about a 20-second delay, so I'll keep an eye out
Okay.
for it. About near future, she wrote.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do, and I'll probably put this out there first for all of us before we even start the session, but I'm going to protect the space. I'm going to kind of surround us all in white light. Now, even though we are at a distance, even though we are not physically in the same space, that does not matter. This work is non-local, so we are creating this space just by our intention. And because this session is our creation, imagine with me now that I am creating this light and it is surrounding me, but it is also surrounding all of us right now that are joined here for this broadcast. And that can also be later. Does not matter because time again is an illusion. So everyone who is watching this now is surrounded by light. Envision this light. You can breathe this light into your body. As you breathe it in, envision this light as beautiful white light. This is the light of God, of Christ, whomever you call your God. But this is unconditionally pure, loving light. As you take this into your body, it releases any stress and negativity, anything at all that you may be holding on to. And also we surround ourselves with this light. You can imagine this light being projected out into the aura. You can see that coming out of your body, 6, even up to 12 inches out. And this is just also protecting your outside space. And now at this time, I'm calling in only the highest and best loved ones and guides, our guidance to come in and to surround us and to be with this group and to especially be with those today that I will be reading. So we are doing this right now, and it is for Ewa. Is this her first name?
Ewa.
Ewa.
EWA. Mm-hmm.
Ewa. EWA. Okay. So I'm going to focus right now. All right, so I have some beautiful energy that surrounds her. First thing that I'm seeing is I'm seeing her loved ones coming around her, and she is being surrounded in a garden. She's been given a bouquet of flowers. I do feel, especially, there are female energies with her. Um, I don't know if mom has passed. If mom has not passed, I'm not putting her there, but there is a woman that comes through that feels motherly, and along with her is a sister. I do feel for sure there is an aunt. The aunt is coming in. So this is the sister, the one who identifies as sister coming through. But their whole thing that they want to put forth for you is about this beauty and abundance and the time. Okay, so the essence of these flowers, okay, flowers have a only a limited time of having such a sweet smell, of having such a beautiful aroma, and of giving you that beauty. So they are saying that this is a message for you about life. This is a message for you about taking chances and about savoring the moments that you have in your life and realizing, stopping, literally stopping to smell the flowers, and taking the time to be just be so grateful for the things you have. Another thing that sending the bouquet means is it's usually it's either a congratulations or it's a reward for something. So just like when you've had a recital or something like this and someone gives you a bouquet, this is how I feel is these women are bringing her a bouquet to not only remind her to enjoy life and smell the flowers, but a congratulations. She's reached some sort of a pinnacle. And so there's been some kind of a graduation or moving forward. And so they want to honor her for that and they want to celebrate her for that.
That is
And
awesome.
yeah,
Do you so
really,
you can pull a card for her too then?
yeah, let me do that. Let me do that.
Awesome.
So just because if anyone out there likes tarot and they're interested, this is called the Good Tarot deck. And so this is the one I'm going to be pulling from. And I like to see what card comes up that Spirit likes to pull after. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this. This is the Magician. And so my first initial impression for the Magician for her would be exactly what has come through about savoring what you have, being grateful about that, and then taking that opportunity to create more. So I'm looking quickly to see if there's anything. Oh, nice. The nice thing is these are very quick meanings. Magician is about alchemy. And it says, when I am in alignment with Spirit's will, miracles are possible. When I see this card, I'm reminded that my will and skill alone will yield limited results. When I remember my partnership with Spirit, all is well. I'm required to explore my commitment to this co-creative alchemical relationship and see the results manifest beautifully. Through me, Spirit works magic.
That is awesome. There,
Excellent.
all right, that was for Ewa. Let's see. What do we have? Oh, scrolling. Let's see who it was. I'm going to end up missing it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Uh, yeah, okay, so Astro Yanni. I would love a live reading. And she wanted to find out about. Let's see. I would like to know about my baby boy due to arrive in 2 weeks. Congratulations, Astro Yanni. Can you do anything with a baby in the womb? That would be awesome.
Oh, how fun. I love this. Okay, let's see what we can get.
Okay.
This is fun. All right. Well, first, there's so much love that has surrounded you. Oh, the card just flew right out of my pack. I should I should make note of that. So this is the Fool card, and actually, this is a beautiful version of the Fool. And I'm just going to say off the top of my head, because this fell out of the pack, I don't ignore things when that happens. But the Fool card's a wonderful card. The Fool is mainly the Joker of the deck. So because it's the number 0, they don't really consider it. But the Fool is the card that is the very first card, and he or she is taking the leap of faith. Their foot is hanging off the cliff, and most people say, "What are you doing?" But it's sort of, with any venture that we make, we have to take the leap of faith. So in many ways, the Fool card, before I even get into the reading, could just be saying, don't know if this is her first child, but any child, you are taking a leap.
Oh yeah, no doubt there. I got 5 of them. I took 5 leaps.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So, firstly, you are surrounded by love and light and blessings. I actually see now, it's interesting. The card that I did show had, because I'm seeing it now in my mind, it looked like an angel with a trumpet. So, I'm actually seeing her surrounded by angels with trumpets.
Welcoming the
Um,
baby. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally see it. Yeah.
yes. Um, so, right now, she has really got this. Like, loved ones are here for her, but the angels, and especially I believe because the baby is, very due, the angels are like front line and center, surrounding her, surrounding baby, ready to bring this child in. There are loved ones, and there is a grandparent, there's a grandmother, and then there's also a great. Now, this is actually a great aunt. So what I believe this is this woman that I am reading for, her mother's mother, and then her mother's grandmother. This is all the maternal women. They're coming through, they're coming in, and they're just, again, they're kind of waiting patiently, very excited. I feel that they know this soul. This soul has been in the family before. This is someone who is going to be bringing so much joy to your world. Um, the child, now, I'm not good at predicting sex, and I don't want to do that, but I feel a masculine energy. That does not necessarily mean this is going to be a boy. We know
No, she
plenty
said
of
it's
girls.
supposed to be a boy.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah.
I do feel the energy of a boy. It's a masculine energy. But they're very special qualities. Um, this is a very sweet child. This is going to be a very kind child. This is going to be a child that loves animals, very sensitive, very empathic. If you want to use the word psychic, yes, extremely psychic. Someone who understands beyond his years, a wise soul, old soul. Going to have a really good aptitude for the math and sciences, and really going to be interested in actually a lot of the same things we are. Quantum physics is going to be something that's probably going to be of interest very young in age. I actually believe, though, as a society, we may start looking at it more seriously anyway. So the child may just be kind of raised in that environment, and it, would be easier for him to get into that. But I really do see math and sciences, and it really could be a big part of his future. He could be someone who is a scientist. He could become someone who works in a lab. He'll be doing lots of numbers and things like this. But he has such a beautiful, loving side as well. I see him as being a really important part of your family, and I see him as an adult being a really integral part, an important part of his family. He may be someone such as you, Shane, with many children.
I love them. I actually want it more than I have, but I'm glad I didn't get what I originally wanted. So
That's
it
it's
would have been a little
amazing.
too
I
much.
have two, and it was enough for me, but I took in a lot of neighborhood kids, and I
How
was the
many?
mom of the neighborhood. So they didn't live with me, but I had them in my house before and after school a lot. And I love those days.
You say
You know,
you have two children or
I
three?
have two. I have my son is in his master's program and he's 22. And my daughter she graduated as an art major and she's actually studying to be a tattoo artist. And so
Oh,
they're
nice.
on their way. Yeah. My son's studying to be an accountant. So they're very different. You know, I have an artist and then I have a very mathematical minded son. So,
Well,
but
it sounds like it sounds like who were we just reading for? It was Yanni. Sounds like they've got a light worker. They're about to a star seed. They're about to give birth to, doesn't it?
oh, yes, it certainly does. And I also pulled out here the 8 of Water. I don't know how well you can see that card. So it looks like this person here, this hooded person, sees a ship coming in. And there's also a treasure. There's a treasure by his feet.
Ooh.
And love the image. I take it myself as, you know, things are changing. A ship is coming in. You can see in the distance, hasn't come yet. Things are changing. And she's already got the treasure there.
Mm-hmm.
So
A treasure awaits your
that's
precious
right.
cargo, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so here's one that's probably more typical of what maybe you deal with. Aurora Rain, I guess, lost a husband and a daughter. The
Okay.
daughter, actually, her name is actually Jill. She named her YouTube channel off of her daughter's name. So the daughter's name is Aurora. Uh, let's see, 5-year-old daughter who passed, and Mike is her husband who also passed. And that's really
Okay.
all I have. So if you could do something for Jill, maybe contact either
Sure.
Aurora or Mike or both.
Sure. All right, Jill, first I want to apologize. I know it's got to be extremely difficult to deal with that kind of grief. So I don't minimize that whatsoever. So know that, you know, I do my best. I don't know how long it's been since this passing has happened. I don't know what I'll get, but I will see what I can get. And again, just woman to woman, I just want to let you know that my sympathies are with you. So I'm gonna get deep in here for Jill. All right. So you, Jill, firstly, you are surrounded. You have been. I do feel that it has been obviously a darker time for you. I see that you have, you know, gone through a time of depression, but your guides haven't left you. They're still there. Um, and I do see a gentleman come through. So I am assuming that this is husband. He comes through, and what I'm feeling is he has your daughter. The two of them have not really come in to visit in a way such as this, or in a way that may be a little bit more vivid to you than a dream. They may have visited you in a dream, and you may have had some intuitions or some things happening in your home, smells or sounds, or maybe even technical things happening, because sometimes spirits can do that, but they don't want to scare you. And the most that they want to do is they want you to be able to heal from your grief. So it's a very, very sensitive time. Spirit really wants you to know they love you and they're with you, and they want you to know, but they don't want to scare you. So they really work with us very delicately, so you know this. But I do see him come in, and his light is beautiful. I feel his love for you. Um, I feel as if he is putting his arms around you, and he comes from behind you and he puts his arms around you. So I feel like this is a special way that he would hug you, or this is a way that he really wanted to show you his appreciation. I don't know if this was something common that he would hug you from behind or maybe surprise you and give you a bear hug. But this is kind of the feeling I get, as opposed to a front hug or something. This is kind of like grabbing you in a bear hug and really, really hugging you tight. I'm feeling that. I'm getting the month November and April. Lots of times they tell me months that are significant. They could be birthdays, anniversaries. They could also be birth and anniversary days of death. But they are important dates or months to mind. Also, I just got the 22nd and the 29th. So I don't know about those dates, but there's something about those dates that are coming forward as well. I see your daughter. And now I'm seeing her, the way they show themselves is often not exactly the way they were at the time of passing. They usually show themselves the way you're going to recognize them or in a way that would bring you comfort. I see her dressed adorably. I see her in a little dress. I see her happy, and I see her, she has a doll. Um, She likes to wear her hair in curls. And she's playing. She continues to play and grow on the other side. There doesn't seem to be a care in the world. It's almost like she's really also separated from the pain and the grief. She knows she is not with you, but she knows that it's okay. She understands from where she is that it was part of a plan, it was part of a higher purpose. She is thanking you for all you have done for her. Her soul understands it at a higher level. And so the child may not be able to put into words the thanks, but her soul understands all you have done in her memory and really appreciates that. And part of the purpose for her being here on this earth was for what you've created in her memory. So she says she has not died in vain. She is not gone for no reason. Her memory does stand for something, and it is with your hard work and your continued support that you can continue to put her name out and also help others. I also feel you may be helping other parents that have lost children. I don't know if that's already what this is, but I feel like this is helping other parents in similar situations. And if you haven't taken it even that far, you may and will. This is a mission you're going to have for the rest of your life. And it's a healing mission for you. It helps you. It's part of your healing. But it also is healing your family. It's healing your family from beyond. So you are supported very, very much so by your loved ones. They are with you. You have to ask if you want to hear from them more directly because they don't want to intrude or scare you. And really, we lots of times we say we're ready and we say, yes, I want to see you. And then at the moment we have something that we feel is a paranormal thing, we turn it off. So they're saying, it's up to you how you want us to come. Be comfortable with it, and we will come the way you want. Many people only kind of say it's okay if you come in a dream because dreams are ways that we feel comfortable. But even a dream visitation is very different than a dream, and you will know the difference. You will wake up and know you have been visited. So if that is something that you would like, they are asking you to ask for that, and they will absolutely appear in dreams. So I'll leave it
Awesome.
with you.
I hate to interrupt, but she was validating everything you were saying. Yeah, from what her daughter wore to the date. There was an April 30th date. I can't remember if it was a birthday or a death date, but yeah. So yeah, I just want to give you that. Let's see. I would never be scared. I hope they know that. So that's what she's saying. That's awesome.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Very, very good. I'm so happy. Excellent.
Do you want to pull a card or do?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
just pulled one. We have the moon, and
that's
that's a
very beautiful.
beautiful card. And so the moon is all about intuition, and it is about going within. The moon, really, I believe, is a card of dreams because it is in the night. So this really could also be identifying with that and saying, yeah, go right ahead. We hear you, so we're going to show up. Um, and I love it. I think it's great. It's number 18 as well. So it's something to keep note of. I like to keep note of the numbers that turn up because you just never know if that's also significant. So,
Absolutely. Okay, she's saying a big thank you.
oh, you're
So
so
awesome.
welcome.
Yeah. Wow, that's so emotional. I could just feel the love just, while you were doing the reading. I could, just like in a BQH session when you can just feel that energy, that love from the loved ones. And it's like you reap the benefit of just being present to experience it. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's the perk of it is being part of it because, I get chills all the time. I'm in the middle of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I know for you, it's probably being a medium and you've been dealing with this for a while. It's probably not as a surprise for you, but for me, when I started doing BQH, I'd never experienced most of what I experienced, and it's like, wow, you're actually connecting with the other side. And so for me, it was super mind blowing. But you being that you've been doing this for so long, you probably didn't have that initial impact like I did. But it's been
Well,
incredible.
it is incredible. I must say, BQH is still incredible to me because I've only done a few, but and like I said, all of my clients were great. But that's what really surprised me. So I really thought I'd have to do a lot of work. And in these sessions, obviously, I mean, a lot of people think it's really hypnosis, and it's really not. We're not putting people into a deep trance state. And my clients went so quickly, and they just kept talking and sharing, and I was amazed because I'm just like, this is actually real. And people are taking off with it and I don't really have to do anything. And that's what I think is amazing. I really wish everyone could do a BQH session. I really think if we all could do this and find out a glimpse of where we've been and everyone in our life, who they've been, and
Hmm.
what our karma is with these people and how we can fix it and heal it, wow, we can move
Right.
on. We could all move forward.
That's why I've been so excited about working with Candace Crawl Goldman and really trying to. I mean, I love to do sessions for people, but I think, now more than ever, it's like a great thing to learn how to do. It's cheap enough with the discount, it's like $300. And figure two people take it, a couple take it together, and they could give each other sessions or maybe siblings or something. And you don't even have to really do it for a living. I mean, just the
Right.
cost of a session, you'd make your money back in just one session each. So I think it's a great tool. Do you have time for one more by any chance?
Absolutely. We can do one
Okay,
more.
okay, because I want to do David Maude. Make sure I got his name right. Let's see. Let me scroll up because he had someone he was trying to. Uh, we're just talking up a storm here. Sorry.
Good, good.
Let's see. Know about my ongoing. Okay, he said he wanted to know about his ongoing psychic abilities, but he had also said, still scrolling here. Uh, I missed it, guys. So can you type it again, David? Because it wasn't in red and I'm missing it here. Let's see. I love a message. Oh, here it is. I love a message from my brother. I was by myself in hospital when he passed over. I felt the last heartbeat as he shed a tear. Hmm.
Wow. And that's
See?
for David.
David Maud.
And he
Maudie.
also,
Sorry. Maudy. Dave Maudie.
and he was also asking about his psychic abilities, like coming
Mm-hmm.
online or something. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting about his brother passing. So let's get in. Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting is Absolutely, indeed. Him and his brother have a close connection. They've had a close connection since, I'm not sure who was born last, but the one who was born last, the baby, I feel like the older brother, even at the time of the birth, had a very close connection to the child. So these brothers have been very close, and they, almost to the point of mind reading, can finish each other's sentences, and they know a lot of things. So to feel the passing, or to know that he had passed while you were not there, I feel that that is not uncommon because you had the bond. And so, yes, indeed, that did happen. That was real. That was a real event. Um, and there's, so if you had any regrets or worries that you were not there or anything like that, that's usually one of the first things people say. I wasn't there, and I want to make sure that they're not upset. That's not even an issue because you were there. Um, And he's also saying, this is very interesting, even though he passed, and maybe you had felt that, you weren't there for him, he's actually feeling as if he wasn't there for you. I don't know what your situation was, what you were hospitalized, but I feel like he was just as worried for you as you may have been for him. So I find that interesting, and I wanted to highlight that for him because I want him to know that there really is this feeling of equality between these brothers. So there's really no hard feelings at all. There's really no negativity, nothing to work out. It's a really good relationship. I wouldn't compare it to twins, but I would say that that's almost the kind of mental type of relationship that they had, where they really could understand, or feel. It's more of a feeling of what was going on with the other brother. Now, as far as your intuition and what's going on psychically, that is part of it because you've always had that. I do feel that you may also have that connection with another, or you may be starting to understand how to tap in a little bit more to certain people. There's a woman I feel that's in your life now, and I'm not sure if she's a love interest, but it feels that way. It feels like this is someone who's a little bit closer than a friend, and you are feeling as if, I feel you've shared a lot with her and you've been extremely open. Perhaps she's really been there to help you with this grieving period and a lot of things you've been through. But I also feel that you feel a very deep connection, and you do kind of also have this, not mind reading, but like I said, you can kind of finish each other's sentences. You're on the same wave of thought. And you also have a connection with animals. So I'm not exactly sure if you're aware of this, but you know what they need. You understand, you're very sensitive to the needs of the animals. So, other people may not know if a pet is sick, but you'll be able to pick up on it first.
He's
Um,
saying yes.
yep, great. And the last thing I guess I would add with that is nature is a really big thing for you. To be out in nature, to be grounded. It would be great if you could incorporate meditation in your practices and just like quiet time, mindfulness, meditation, something that helps you get grounded, yoga, things that really help you to center and kind of just check out, turn that mind off, so that you can just allow your guidance to come through. You do have really good guidance. And as far as your abilities, we all have different kinds. So I feel that you're a thinker. So, but that can actually work well for you. Some people, the thinking doesn't help them with their intuition, but I feel that your thinking can help you with that. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I'm just going to put that out there. So don't turn the mind off. Yes, when you're learning and developing, but somehow you're going to be using it when you help people. So I feel you do have a scientific mind and you are a researcher as well. So those things are important for you, and that's something you're not going to stop doing. But there may be some more skills that come online for you. I'm feeling clairsentience is something, and that is the feeling. Clairaudience is when you hear things, and I'm more clairvoyant where I see through my third eye, but the sentience is really feeling, and it's just kind of like, you just say, I just have a feeling. And that's
Right.
what I have with you is you just kind of know. And so when you have those, that's when you can react. You're the person who would know first when to react and when to follow up on something. You're kind of going to have a nagging feeling about whatever it is. Could be a person. You could say, I haven't heard from them in a while, and just have a nagging feeling. Make the phone call. So follow your intuition. It is very, very good. And I do feel good about whatever this relationship is with the woman as well. I feel like this is a keeper. I'll leave
Awesome.
it.
That's awesome. Let's see what kind of card we can pull for Dave. This
um,
is awesome. I mean, I'm like on the. This is very emotional for me. I'm like on the verge of crying because I can really
oh,
feel the energy. It's very good. You're very good at this.
oh, thank you. We have the King of Wands, or is it Wands? Yeah, King of Water. King of Water. That's what I thought. So the King of Water would also be like the King of Cups. And cups and water are the same. They're about emotions.
Hmm.
So I actually think, you just said you're ready to cry. So you cups, you're ready to cry.
I was
But that,
picking up on the card, wasn't I?
yeah, yeah. So that's what this is about. But water is also the most intuitive of the suits. So that also really picks up on that. A king usually represents an older gentleman or a gentleman who, the lower than the king is someone who's still learning about life and still making his way, but the king has already paved his way and he already knows what he's doing and what his goals are. He usually others are coming to him by this point, but he's full of love and wisdom and emotion, but he's also learned how to master his emotions. So he doesn't fly off the handle. He knows how to keep himself in check, and he's all loving.
You were right on. He was talking about how he said he's definitely a thinker. He just recently started to meditate to properly relax. And so, yeah, you're right on. He says, thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
So, we had an announcement to make. Let me pull it back to both of us on the
Yeah.
screen here. Okay, so here we are, about a month away. Actually, a month from tomorrow, I do my first conference, the West Coast Mandela Effect conference. The link is in the description, so if you don't know about it, you can go find out about it. But you're going to be there, Kim.
I am. I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to be there, and not only that, they are going to set me up in a room, and I have a limited amount. I think I'm going to have 9 spots, but I will actually be able to take some private readings. And because of the Mandela Effect Conference, I'm going to be giving those people a nice discount. I normally charge $100 for my readings. But for the Mandela Effectors, it's going to be $77.77.
Hmm.
And one of the nice things too is it's a private reading. So it's an in-person reading. Normally my readings are done via email. Now there are advantages to that. And I'm going to mention that too, because before my trip, I will take readings. I'll send emailed readings. I'll even do phone readings. And I am going to honor the 77.77 price for your viewers as well that are watching today. Um,
Awesome.
but it's, the difference between getting an email and getting a voicemail, obviously you're on the phone with me and that's kind of nice. It has its advantages. You could ask some questions. But if you did get mail, I prefer those because you have a record of it. You can go back to it. You do get an image of the card or card too, because sometimes the viewer sees more in a card than I do.
Right.
Sometimes whatever I read out of the book is not exactly what you're going to get from an image. You may get something much different. So I think that there's advantages to that. I've had people look back at their readings a year later and get very different messages because at the time their life was very different. And then they look back and they say, wow, this came to pass and that happened. And now I understand. I thought it meant this, but now I understand it meant this. So I think it's a very good thing to have an emailed reading. And another advantage of an emailed reading is you can send it to someone as a gift. And that's a wonderful thing because you don't have to be available. You just send it to an email address. It pops on somebody's phone or in their messages, and they can read it whenever they want. And if they're at work and they can't read it, they can read it when they go on a break or when they go home. So I think it's kind of fun and special to kind of get a message like that in your inbox.
Yeah, it sounds like a great Christmas gift idea too.
I have families that do it regularly for birthdays. I have one family that all of their birthdays are in the same month, and so they just plan it every month, and everyone gets their reading on their birthday.
I like that. Yeah, much better for a birthday than Christmas, I think. But
yeah, and then they even print those out and they put it in an album, and so they can go back every year and kind of say, okay, last birthday it said this birthday, and yeah, that's really kind of neat.
You're saying, does she do online sessions? I know you do them on the phone. Do you do Skype or anything like that?
I do something called Zoom, which is just like Skype. Yeah, so I could do that, absolutely.
Okay. That's awesome. So I'm excited about meeting you here in a month in person.
Too.
And so I did want to tell everybody the best way to get a hold of Kim is with the email address. Now you'll have to swap out the @ and the dot for the real @ sign and the dot. I didn't want her to get spammed, but her email is down there. Or you can contact her through the website, but the quickest way is just to contact her through her Gmail right away. And it was great. Gosh, I can't believe how long it's been. Somebody mentioned that you reminded them of Candace Kroll Goldman. I thought, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that.
And she's my idol, so thank you.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, I got to meet her. I got to meet her in person on the way to ECETI a few months back. So it was a great.
I heard, and I have not gotten to meet her in person yet. We're actually to the point where we do communicate via text and things. So I'm getting closer.
Everybody you gave a reading for is thanking you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so glad you came. We're gonna have to do this. We should do this more often, and I think it'd be a great thing. I love the interaction with the live group. You know what I mean? So.
Well, this is my first time doing this sort of interaction on a live. So I've never done this on my own channel. This has also been great for me to see how it works. I assumed it would work, but it's fun to see it go live. And thanks for controlling any trolls. I appreciate that.
There were none that I even saw. I didn't even see where they had to get rid of anybody. This is such a great group of open-minded, loving individuals. You can't find a better group here. So I love you guys for being here, and thank you so much. And I'm so glad we can give back to you and, a few readings, just a little surprise for you today, as you came in here. So, yeah, maybe we can start doing it maybe once a month. We'll pick a Wednesday or something. So, yeah, we'll get back together after the conference in a month. Like the middle of November or something, we'll do this again, and we can talk about the conference and all that good stuff. That sounds good to you?
Fantastic. Oh yeah, I know. When we come back, we're just going to have a whole heck of a lot to discuss. It's going to be great.
Awesome, definitely. So lots of love to you guys in the chat.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Kim.
Lots of love. Problem. Thank you so much, Shane.
All right, peace.
Peace. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.